Happy Monday, everybody. This is Kiera Gladney, the host for Charity Movement Podcast, Mask Off Charity Movement Podcast. Okay. And as you can see, I have somebody here with me. This is Tiana, my sister friend, who is a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, just an all around amazing woman. She is so active in her children's lives, in her church's lives, in her father's life, and the people around her life. We'll talk about, a lot of that, a lot more of that. But she is like one of the first young mothers I knew who just, in my opinion, like we're just the epitome of what being a great mom looks like.
Oh,
We're not. So, yeah, welcome to the Charity Movement Podcast.
thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So, April is so important because it is Autism Awareness Month. And I really wanted to feature Tiana, not just because she's my friend, not just because I think that she has an awesome organization, but I also think that it's very impactful to encourage our community and educate them about what autism is and how to treat and how to love a child with autism. Okay. So, the first question I have for you, Tiana, is who is Tiana? What are 3 adjectives that you can kind of give to describe who you are?
I am a wife.
Okay.
I am a PK. Shout out to my daddy. And I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys, ages 8 and 6.
Okay. And how is it? Like, I know I have 2 boys, but how is it having 2 boys that are 8 and 6? How is that dynamic?
It's crazy. It's a lot. My boys, I love them dearly, but they definitely keep me moving. I would say they run my house. But they're good. They're well mannered. They're good kids, but they're boys. So they're very,
Absolutely.
very active.
Very
Yes.
much so. And
Yes.
we're here for it. We appreciate that activeness. Okay, so what does a day in your life looks like? Like, how does that day go for you?
Okay. So wake up. I try to wake up a little earlier than the boys, so I wake up around 6.
Okay.
Get the boys up and fed and off to school. The boys wake up around 7. They both get hot breakfast every day. They have to. My kids, I don't know what happened. I don't know how this happened, but somehow my kids don't eat cereal.
What?
No. Every day they have to, like, especially Levi, he has to have his cinnamon raisin toast, his bacon, his vitamins, his fruit. Yes, yeah.
Not bacon.
Yes, and it has to be a certain type of bacon. Yeah, we'll get more into that later.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, they get hot breakfast every day. So get them off to school. And then after that, I'm either subbing at the school, or if I'm working from home, I'm working on Feed the Need, or I'm doing something at the church. And then I may get a little bit of time to myself, maybe. And then I pick them up. And after that, it's either to therapy or to a sport event or something. And then if it's a church night, we have church, and then we come home and baths in bed.
Whoa!
So not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Wow. Okay. So you do hot breakfast every day?
Every day.
Like toast?
Like every day.
Bacon?
Every day. Yeah. Every day.
Woo.
Now they're getting older now, so Levi can put his own toast in the toaster, and Caleb, he likes instant oatmeal now.
Okay.
Thank God.
Okay, that's good.
So he'll put that in the microwave.
That's
so
good.
We're getting there, teaching them some independent skills. Yep. So.
Okay, so tell us about because you said that other than substitute teaching, you work on Feed the Need. What is Feed the Need?
So Feed the Need is my nonprofit organization. It started in August of 2021. Our goal is to build a facility here in southeastern Michigan that serves the entire family that is affected by autism and other disabilities. So, families with cerebral palsy or fetal alcohol syndrome or anything. It's a safe haven for everyone, from the caretakers, the young adults, the teens, and the children.
So why or how did you come up with that idea?
Well, as you know, we are still in the midst of this pandemic. When everything was shut down in 2020, um, not only were, like restaurants shut down or churches, but therapy centers were shut down. So I know for my son, he was no longer receiving, or they tried to give him speech and occupational therapy over the computer. That didn't work out too well.
Mm.
So we had to discontinue those services. So, and not only that, but because of the mask mandates, Levi has a like a sensory processing disorder on top of his autism. So he could not tolerate wearing a mask. So a lot of the fun places he couldn't go. So, I was just talking to Levi's teachers, who were great throughout this whole pandemic. Like, they came and read stories to him. They went above and beyond. But in talking to them, they, encouraged me to reach out to some of the other parents. And through just talking with the other parents, we decided, like, we have to do something. We have to do something, because pandemic or not, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
For the families to have no outlet. So we just wanted to create a safe space for everyone, to be able to come, like I said, pandemic or not, just a safe place for people to let loose, whether it's through counseling sessions or whether it's just letting your kids run around and play while you sit there and drink coffee and,
Yeah.
know that they're safe,
Yeah.
So, and then especially like the teenagers and the young adults, what about them?
Yeah.
A place where they can come together and socialize and build on their social skills.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, and the fact that you guys didn't just sit and have the conversation, but you actually start implementing that change. I think that's really amazing. So, how did you find out about Levi having autism?
Okay. So Levi, um, let's see. So he developed normally, for, you know, his 1 year checkup, fine. Um, Sometime between his 18-month and his 24-month checkup, it was literally like overnight. He went to bed one night, woke up the next day, and just wasn't talking. And my background's in early childhood education, so I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I immediately took him to the doctor, and physically everything was fine, but he just wasn't talking. But after he stopped talking, we noticed that he stopped giving eye contact. Um, Certain things, like he had food aversions. He didn't want to eat certain foods anymore. Um, his sleep, just, it was terrible. He wouldn't sleep. Uh, so it was just very, very rough. And it took maybe about a year and a half of testing before we got the diagnosis of autism and sensory processing disorder.
Okay. And how did you, as well as your husband, how did that work? Like, how did you guys receive that?
Well, for me, because I had that background, I kind of saw it coming. I saw the diagnosis coming. It was still tough.
Yeah.
Because you have a vision of what your child's life is going to be like, what your family life is going to be like. And then you receive a diagnosis like that, and you're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But I came to terms with it a lot quicker than my husband did.
Okay.
Now he never stopped being a great father or anything like that. But even to this day, sometimes it's hard for him to um, really try to change his mindset around what he should be doing with his 8-year-old son, or what he felt like he should be doing with his 8-year-old son, and what life is now. So I feel like for him, it's definitely harder on him, because that's his boy, that's his firstborn son.
Yeah.
And now, instead of taking him to, he's 8 years old, he would be able to play football. Instead of taking him to football, we're taking him to speech therapy. So it took a toll on both of us mentally. It took a toll on our marriage, because we definitely had to readjust. For a while, I had to stop working, and he felt the burden because he had to work extra because we were young at the time. He wasn't even on salary or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot. It was a lot. It still is a lot, but God is good. We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell, or what advice would you tell a married couple who might have gotten that diagnosis as you have? How do you kind of prepare them as a unit to deal with, having a child having an autism diagnosis?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't blame yourself. God has the final say. Um, but also do what you would do as a parent anyways. It doesn't change. It may change what you envisioned, but it doesn't change what you do. Regardless, you're going to do your best for your kid. You're going to love your kid. You're going to set them up with the best. You're going to continue to push them and push yourself to do what needs to be done to enable them, a successful life. Autism is not a death sentence.
Yeah.
It's not the beginning of the end. It just means your journey is going to look a lot different than what you envisioned. So as a married couple, give yourself grace, give your spouse grace, and just be open and honest with every single step.
Yeah, I think that's amazing advice. And I also love the fact that you keep driving it home that just because you have a vision of what your life is going to look like, just because you have a vision of what your marriage or what your child is going to look like, that doesn't mean that that'll be your reality. And that doesn't mean that God is any less good than he's always
Right.
been. So, if you can expound on this question that I have is, when you got that diagnosis, when you started seeing, just the difficulty within your marriage, did you ever have an instant where you looked at like, God, why are you doing this to me?
Oh yeah, all the time.
How did you come out of that? Because a lot of times women or men, they can get there and they find it very difficult to get out.
Well, honestly, so it's Levi was diagnosed at 3. He's about to turn 9.
Wow.
I didn't really come out of that till Feed the Need was birthed. I had to, I kept saying, God, why, what, why, why me? What did I do? Um, and I just really had to get to the point because everything was stripped away, right? The world was shut down.
Yeah.
I didn't have an outlet. My kid didn't have an outlet. So, rather than go back to a dark place, because I did deal with postpartum depression. So instead of going back to that dark place, I just kept asking God, why? And I feel like he gave me a purpose because I was asked the question, if Levi never had autism, would you have started Feed the Need? I'm not sure if I would have. I'm not sure if I would have ever really had that interest. Like I've working in early childhood education, I've had the experience with children, with special needs children, and I loved it. I've always had the heart for it. But what I have had, what I have accepted that as my assignment.
Yeah.
If it didn't hit me right there in the heart.
Yeah.
So there are still some days where I'm just like, oh gosh, this is so hard. Like, just to be honest, like, God, this sucks. What is this? But I turn the pain into purpose. So
yeah, I love that. And actually, I thought it was very interesting that you brought up how the person asked you that question, because when Bernard and I had the pregnancy loss in 2020, and Tiana was there. Tiana was all hands on deck. Someone asked me and was like, would you have this much passion for mothers and for families and for women who have suffered grief and loss if you had never known what it felt like? And that, when people first ask you questions like that, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so are you saying that I would lack the empathy necessary to understand what someone else goes through. But when I was talking to God about it, because I was mad after they asked me that question, the scripture came to mind about how Jesus felt all of our infirmity.
Mm.
So of course he understands what our pain feels like because he went through it too.
Right.
And I could preach to a ton of people about how great Jesus is or how much of a healer he is and all those things. But if I never was sick, I never would know the impact of
Right.
what his healing felt like.
Right.
And so I think it's amazing that you take the experience and the hardship and the pain and the, not understanding why, and you've turned it into something that is going to help so many people, so many families, so many children. Their lives are going to change because you're feeding their need.
That's the goal.
How did you come up with the name?
That's a good question. I really don't remember how we came up with that name. I feel like it was a conversation between me and my husband. Needs need to be met, and I've heard feed the need before, as far as like food pantries and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't remember how exactly we came up with this. But when it hit it, like it fit, like yes, feed these needs. They say special needs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll feed that need.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made sense. So
come on, we don't know where it came from, but it dropped. And we thank you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems that, like you said, you had a history in childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like you have this spirit of kind of servitude, because you don't just serve in the community. You don't just serve with your job. You don't just serve at your house. You serve at church. You serve wherever you're asked. So why is that so important?
That's how I was raised. My father's a great example. He's done some of everything. From in church. Working soundboard, Sunday school, deacon, and he's done some of everything. And even in the community, he's done volunteer. He's helped out with the football, wrestling. It's just in me. And for me, when I was going through some of the darker times of my life, serving is what kept me alive. Serving is what kept me afloat. So yeah, I just love to serve God's people. It's not for the accolades or anything. It's just knowing that I can help somebody. Just knowing that I can help somebody, it just makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it gives me purpose.
Yeah.
So
what is your vision for this year?
Okay, that's a good question. So first off, I was just trying to survive this year.
Okay.
Levi just got back into his speech and OT. So now that he's stable, a lot of my energy is going into feed the need. I would really love to have a building and start to have, I want to actually start with caretaker support groups. A lot of people think that, a lot of people have asked me, like, when are you going to open it up for the kids? Which is fine. I do want to open things up for the children, but I want to start from the top down. So the caretakers and the young adults, those that were really kind of lost in the shuffle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I would love to start doing the caretaker support groups. And so we're looking for a facility right now. I have a really good team. I have a therapist or a counselor on our team, a special education teacher, a caretaker, a preschool director. And I'm looking for a person either with autism or another disability that can give us, their perspective on things. Because that's one of the things too. Like, I was recently at an autism conference, and somebody said, we don't always want the teachers or the professionals to speak for the community. Let's have somebody from the community speak for the community.
Yeah.
So just praying that things really work out, with us bringing this facility to the community.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. I think that your desire to do this I think that God is definitely going to honor it. I think that He is going to feed your need as you feed the need. I am
Amen.
excited about that. Okay, so how can our audience, how can the people that are listening, how can they support you?
Alrighty. So, well, so this is Autism Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And this month we are working with the Detroit Cookie Company.
Mm-hmm.
They have 3 locations, one in Grand Rapids, one in Ferndale, and one in Ann Arbor. And they are actually selling a blue moon cookie. And blue is known in some of the autism communities as the color for autism,
Okay.
depending on what organization you support. But they're selling a blue moon cookie, and for the whole month we get I believe it's 20% of the proceeds for every cookie sold. So you can purchase a cookie at Detroit Cookie Company. You can also find us at feedtheneedautism.org, or find us on our Facebook, Feed the Need Autism. And we are collecting donations, so we can build our facility. So, and just, if you don't have anything to give, then spread the word, because we want to impact as many people as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody needs to give some money. Amen. Charity Movement will be making a donation. Okay.
Aww.
So make sure that everyone goes to buy some cookies. Everybody likes eating cookies. I don't know.
And they're really good too.
Okay. So go get you a nice cookie from one of those 3 locations. Tell somebody else that you know to follow them on Facebook, as well as visiting their website. Can they give on the website as well?
They can.
There you go. Y'all don't have any excuse, okay? And if you want to give them some money in person, find her at somebody's church ushering, okay? Just drop a 20 or something in her lap. Yeah. Okay. So Tiana, thank you so much.
Thank you for
being
me.
a part of this episode. I really appreciate you standing up. I know this is the funny thing is, this is so far out of your comfort zone.
This is so far out of my.
And I'm so excited that you are.
I almost said no.
I wasn't just talking about the episode. I'm saying Tiana is the type of person that does not like a ton of spotlight on her. No. So isn't it like God to display her in this way, to be a spokesperson, to be an example for autism awareness, and to have this organization? I think that's
all God. It's not me.
And it also says that she's obedient, and that she will be obedient to what God is doing for her. Absolutely. So I appreciate you for all that you're doing with this organization. I'm so excited for what's going to happen this year. I am so pleased with all that you are doing. Oh my gosh. So yes, everybody, please go visit that website. Please go donate. I will definitely add all of those details in the description box for YouTube and for the audio podcast. I love you guys. Make sure to like, share, and to subscribe. Make sure you guys give them some money. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you guys. And remember that the only one stopping you is you. See you soon.